Hello. Welcome back to the channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews. Don't do unboxings. Probably not going to do any more playthroughs, but you never know. But today we're going to be talking about a Where's Wally type detective game. We're going to be talking about MicroMacro Kids Crazy City Park, and in this game you'll be given some very, very simple missions. You'll be looking for clues on a map that will hopefully allow you to progress on to the next mission that will eventually allow you to win the game. So in this video we're going to be giving you a very brief overview of the rules. We'll be telling you what we do like, what we don't like, then we'll come back and we'll tell you whether or not MicroMacro Kids is worth your time and bother today and in the future. So remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel, hit the like button and all that YouTube bullshit. See you after this. Bollocks. So, MicroMacro Kids, how'd you play this game? So, MicroMacro Kids is the latest in a long line of Where's Wally type games. If you're as old as me, you will remember Where's Wally or Where's Waldo. If you're some fucking weird United States freak, there'll be a picture of this geezer called Wally, and you'll have to search around all these pictures and try and find him. It's like an inverted jigsaw puzzle type thing. Do you know what I mean? This is kind of similar. You get a spiral-bound book, and it will give you a little bit of a backstory, and then it will tell you to search in a specific area for maybe a person or something like that. It will pose a question, and you'll have to find the answer to the question. And you'll do this by usually tracing pictures back. So you'll have a picture of some geezer with a hat on, and then you'll have to find the picture of where he goes next. You'll build up a bigger picture, and you'll be able to answer the question that has posed. Once you've done that, you'll turn over the page, see if you're right or not. And there's no penalties if you're wrong. It doesn't really matter, yeah, but just move on to the next case. I think there's like 25 cases in the box. Let's have a little look. Yeah, it's something like 20 odd cases in the box. And once you get to the end of them, then that is it. You are done. The game does provide you with some little clear disc markers so you can trace back where you've seen something so you don't get lost, because the illustrations in this game are really, really small. Yeah, I mean, I had to get out my fucking monocle. I usually use when I take a piss so that I don't accidentally touch a pube. I had to use that just to see the illustrations. So the little discs are really kind of useful. Yeah, but once you have finished all the cases, that is it. It's a one and done game, and you'll be the winner, I suppose, of MicroMacro Kids, right? So what do we like about MicroMacro Kids? So the first thing that we quite like about this is the amount of detail on the map. Yeah, this is our first foray into the world of MicroMacro City shit. Yeah, we didn't play any of the other ones, so I don't know how detailed the other ones are, but this is actually quite detailed. Yeah, it does come with some pitfalls. Yeah, I mean, I hate wearing fucking glasses at the best of times. Yeah, but this forces me to get out for some fucking glasses or use my phone to see stuff. Yeah, because some of the illustrations are so small that it will give you a fucking migraine. Yeah, but the amount of detail on this map is absolutely fantastic. There's loads of shit going on. Yeah, must have taken a billion years for the artist to create a sort of living, breathing world populated by, well, really a bunch of fucking weirdos. You know what I mean? The second thing that we quite like about MicroMacro Kids is that when you are trying to complete a mission, yeah, you'll inadvertently be looking at other things. And there was a bit in this where we saw some geezer on like a sort of like an inflatable tire and that, and we're thinking, what the fuck's he doing there? And in a later mission, that actually gets explained. You're thinking, fucking hell, that's why he was doing that. Yeah, so you've got all these little surprises as you're searching for the clues, as you're trying to solve the current mission. You'll see stuff that will pose other questions in your mind, and you'll sort of remember that for when you try and solve the later mission. So you'll be looking at stuff thinking, oh, I remember where that was. Where was that? It was over here, wasn't it? And it is kind of fun to imagine what the little story is attached to all the different weird characters on the map. You know what I mean? But the final thing that we quite like about this is that it is actually quite brutal for a kids game. I'm not talking about complexity or difficulty. I'm talking about some of the missions that are in here. Yeah, it's like a bunch of fucking thieves and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, people nicking stuff and riding through a fucking city on horseback wearing a fucking mask. I mean, it's like a postmodernist Dick Turpin. Yeah, but yeah, there's some sort of kind of quite risky content in here for kids. You know what I mean? There's a couple of occasions where I'm sitting there playing this with my daughter, and she's like looking at me thinking, what the fuck? And I'm like, okay then, is this suitable? It's done in a sort of way where really it is kind of innocent. But yeah, a city full of fucking nasty, dirty criminals. Sort of makes my kids think that the world's gone rat shit, and like maybe it has. So don't we like about MicroMacro Kids? So the first thing we don't like about it is this game can be really, 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 really frustrating. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's any kind of uniform distance between one picture and the next. Yeah, there's a couple of occasions where something's been happening and we've been focusing on this area and we're thinking, well, it's got to be in a sort of concentric ring. Do you know what I mean? If that guy's here, then you've got to think, well, he's going to be in and around this area, but he's not. He's fucking over here somewhere. Yeah, so you end up searching for fucking ages, thinking, what the bloody hell's going on? You give up on the case, you turn it over and go, oh, he was there all along. Fucking hell. So yeah, this can be really frustrating when you cannot find the answer to the question posed, and at the end of the day, you're just going to have to skip the mission, aren't you? Which is a bit of a shitter. So the second thing that we don't really like about this game is that some or a lot of the missions are painstakingly similar. Yeah, you're just going to be doing the same kind of thing, like finding where someone is on the map. You'll be thinking in past tense or future tense. Yeah, you'll either be tracing their movements back to where they came from, or you'll be tracing their movements in the future to where they are going. And there's 20 odd missions practically doing this. Yeah, I think this is a limitation of the actual game itself. There's not really many opportunities, or at least they haven't found many opportunities to mix things up a little bit to make the game a little bit more interesting. Yeah, so that's basically it. You'll be tracing a path back, or you'll be tracing a path into the future, and truth be told, it can get a little bit boring after a while. So the final thing that we don't really like about this, and this is a counterpoint to one of the positives of the game, where we said that the illustrations are really, really detailed, and like we said earlier, this can make your brain implode. Yeah, it gave me a fucking migraine trying to focus in on these tiny little illustrations. Yeah, some of them are so small that it's like trying to find a pygmy's penis. So yeah, just be prepared for a few headaches along the way. Have a box of ibuprofen ultra next to you, because if your eyesight's getting really bad and you're getting older like me, and you don't want to look like a complete and utter prick wearing glasses more than you already do, then this game can be a bit of a fucking shitter for the older generation. That's maybe why they put kids on a box, innit? Maybe I'm just fucking stupid. To summarise, is MicroMacro Kids, fuck was it called again? Crazy City Park worth your time and bother today and in the future? So we're going to say maybe, maybe not. MicroMacro Kids is a fun Where's Wally style detective game that provides some short-term anesthesia to the human condition. The illustrations are detailed and the game can be challenging, but its one and done nature lets it down, as does the repetitive makeup of the majority of the missions. It's fine, but it doesn't blow my kids' minds. In fact, they lost interest around mission 15 and I had to trawl through the remaining dregs on my own, feeling rather kind of lonely. So there you go. That is MicroMacro Kids Crazy City Park. Remember, if you're new here, and please consider subscribing to this channel, hit the like button, all that YouTube bullshit. And we'll see you next time.